Joe Tamburino once again. Joe, what do you think the sentencing will look like for these defendants?
Well, Esme is correct. Under the law, since death was a result of all of this activity, everything that they were found guilty of, you could get up to life in prison. Now, practically, Mr. Chauvin is getting between 20 and 24 years. He's the main actor. Obviously, we know that. So it would be highly unlikely that the judge would sentence these three to something along 20 to 24 years like Mr. Chauvin. So we would expect less than that. But technically, they could get the same as Mr. Chauvin.
Joe, I have a question. You know, obviously, we have a state trial coming up. In past cases, it seemed to me that the criminal trial would go first, and then they would have the civil trial, the federal trial after. How is this going to impact, this federal trial, going to impact the criminal trial, the state trial?
Well, two things. They could still have the trial, obviously, because there are separate charges. But second, practically, you would think some type of a deal would be worked out. Take a look at Mr. Chauvin. He was convicted in state court and then worked out a plea bargain in federal court. We would imagine that something along those lines could happen here, because to do two separate trials involving the same incident would be a little unique. So now that we have a conviction, and I would assume they'd be sentenced within the next few months, that somehow the state trial would be worked out.
And Joe, you know, Esme couldn't see it, but are we assuming the three gentlemen we're looking at and the 5 guilty charges, are they in federal custody right now? I mean, that's usually what happens, right? You get found guilty and they take you away.
That is correct. The only time that doesn't happen is if it's a low-level felony. If it's some type of felony where the guidelines basically would call for a very low amount of jail, say less than 5 years. But in a case like this where you have 3 convictions and so quickly, yes, I would imagine all 3 are in custody right now.
What? I'm sorry.
I wanted to ask you about, just going back to the wording, because you had talked about it a little bit, that it was unusual that willfully, that word, it was an unusual charge or terminology?
That's correct. In this type of a case where you have criminal civil rights violations against former police officers, the standard is willfully, which is like specific intent. Think of it this way. You have states of mind such as negligence, which is when someone doesn't use proper care. Then you have intentionally, where someone intentionally does something. But then above that, you have specific intent. That means willfully, that you intended to effect something by your actions. It's a high standard. And that's one of the surprising things about this case, that within 14 hours, 39 pages, and all these weeks of trial, they decided pretty solidly.
So these defense arguments, then, I mean, they just didn't, they really didn't resonate with these 12 jurors. All the other video they saw, the training, the concept of the hierarchy of rank inside the police department, I mean, that didn't have a lot of meaning for them, obviously.
Obviously it didn't. And specifically, Frank, you mentioned the training. There's even a specific instruction from the judge, it's later on in the 39 pages of the jury instructions, that talks about how you can use training. And it specifically says that an officer might not follow training, but that doesn't mean he's guilty of violating constitutional law. So the jury in this case had to have been convinced that they went so far afield of training and did willfully intend to do their actions. So it's a solid verdict for the government.
We're waiting for a little bit. The U.S. Attorney is supposed to have some brief remarks following the verdict, so we are waiting for that.
I just got a message by Esme. It says they were not taken into custody, Joe. So that's different, right?
Interesting. That is different. That's very interesting. So I would imagine they're still going to be on their bond or personal bond.
Right. And then, and who knows what the sentencing will look like. And that's right. That's where the judge has to, you know, apply some law and wisdom to the charges they get. And we have different, I'd imagine the sentences for Tao and King would be different than Lane. They were found guilty of 2 felony charges. Lane was found guilty of 1. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And what will happen from here is they'll have to go through what's called the pre-sentence investigation part, where basically someone from probation, the U.S. Correctional Department, will go through all aspects of the case, will interview the defendants, will interview their family and friends, will get victim impact, and make a recommendation to the judge before sentencing. So all that has to be done from now till the sentencing date.
So, Joe, clearly, Derek Chauvin's case had no bearing whatsoever, him pleading guilty to these civil charges, these federal charges, rather.
That's correct. And, you know, remember, since he's been convicted in state court and he pled guilty in federal court, we thought at the beginning of the case might one side or another call Mr. Chauvin as a witness. Obviously, that didn't happen. But you're right. I mean, it really didn't have any effect on these cases.
Joe, you know, well, the Chauvin case, his criminal trial isn't a good example, but, you know, we look at the Kim Potter trial, and now we look at this trial. Is there some shift in what people as what the public wants to see out of police forces? I mean, can we read some things into this when we look at the totality of this verdict, the speed of it, the fact it was a complicated trial? Are we seeing some changes going on that we might recognize 5 years or 10 years from now and look back and say, yeah, this is the moment it changed? Are we in that?
Yes, we are. That's clearly the case. I mean, think of it this way, even beyond Mr. Chauvin with Kim Potter, and now we have a federal jury. And as you all have pointed out, this is a jury comprised of people from all over the state. You have Jackson County, that's about 3.5 hours away. Olmsted County, the suburbs of Minneapolis and St. Paul. So you have a wide swath of the state, and all 12 people agreed on these verdicts. So I think you're quite right. We are in some type of a change where the public is expecting something much different than what we've had before from the police departments.
Well, let's go in a second. We're going to go to Jennifer Merrily. But, Joe, I just feel, I mean, obviously I'm biased. I want everything on TV and public. But I feel like the public gets cheated a little bit when we can't see what was happening, or at least have the right to see it. You know, we broadcast Potter gavel to gavel, and we broadcast Chauvin trial gavel to gavel. The federal court won't allow it, period.
That is correct, and that's unfortunate because I completely agree with you. TV gives us transparency and trust. You get to see how the sausage is made. You get to see everything that happens in that courtroom, which is very important so that the public could say this was a fair process. People on both sides got heard fairly, but unfortunately, the federal law is the federal law.
Well, maybe some change will come on that too. Who knows?